Hey guys, welcome back to more AFK Arena. In today's video, we are taking a look at the stargazing priorities done by Xapy Slenderman. Now, he did put this up on Reddit, 10 days ago. He did hit me up about a week ago. I've just been busy as hell and I just haven't got around to making it. So I wanted to do this one. Now, we do obviously have another new Hypergene that's just come into the mix. So, you know, it's going to take some more testing to get him into the mix, but I think this is just a really good way of visually representing what you want to stargaze for. But I want to go through it and talk about it because I feel like this is very much catered towards the min-max, absolute trying to get every inch out of the game type player, where there's a lot of wriggle room in this, I feel, for players depending on what levels of spending and enjoyment they want to have. So let's get into it. Okay, so first off, once again, big shout out to Xapy Slenderman for putting this together. I love this sort of stuff. So also down the bottom, I'll just get this out of the way first. He does have Challenger store priorities and Labyrinth store priorities. Obviously, the two dimensionals being the first priority to pick up from both. And then we do have the Zolrath into Athalia, into Aziz, into Orthros, into Flora down here in the Challenger store. And then down for the Lab store, obviously Arthur. And then because Wukong's just not really meta at all, picking up those signature item upgrades for your dimensional heroes is going to have more of an impact than Wukong. So yeah, that's pretty much what I do now on all my accounts as well. Now, for these priorities, you can see we start off with getting an Elite plus copy of Twins, Elite plus copy of Mortis, and then an Elite Mihira. Now, Twins and Mortis, the Elite Plus for this, as far as I understand, this is my understanding, is that those are for Abyssal Expedition, being able to use them in the bosses on Abyssal Expedition, because they are very key for bosses. If you're not a big Abyssal Expedition fan, I wouldn't stress too much. An Elite copy of both of these are kind of nice to be able to use against the general bosses, your guild bosses, and your Twisted Realm bosses. However, for me, I hate stargazing for these two. So they're the ones that I sort of just wait to pop up in events and then pick them up from an event. That's what I do. Or hope to lucky get them from a stone or a summon or something like that. Me personally, I don't like doing it, but definitely for the Abyssal Expedition side of things, definitely very helpful. Then we do have the Mihira. Now, Mihira is really handy, especially like early on, to have a copy of her. She's really powerful pretty much the whole game. So having one copy of her is very, very useful. However, she's another one where I'm just like, I'll just try and luck out. If not, I'll get her from an event. For a lot of people, I feel like it also depends on spending levels. For a lot of people, if you're not spending a heap, maybe, you know, you're like buying the progress pack and monthly packs. If you want to go straight for Lucretia, I still see that as perfectly fine. Because, you know, you're not spending a hell of a lot, so you're more looking to build yourself a carry to get you through campaign, and, you know, just the enjoyment of it. So for me personally, if I was building like an account for myself and trying to be optimal-ish, I'd just go straight for Lucretia, and start saving diamonds early, because I have fun doing that sort of thing. So if you want to do that, that is perfectly fine. But we do have the Elite Plus Twins and what's his name? How has that name left me? Mortis, there we go. Those two to Elite Plus, obviously for the bosses. Mihira, because she's just really, really solid at Elite. Then we go into, like, I feel like Mihira could swap with, like, could go after Ulna as well. But yeah, that's fine. But then we do the Ascended Lucretia and Ascended Ulna. Lucretia because she's her own team. Ulna because she's just busted and can enable just about anything in the game when you get it to 9 furniture. Then we go on to the Mythic Khazard. Now this is where having the Elite Mihira is really important, because then you get the Mythic Khazard and you can use those two in their team. But then progressing on to getting the Mihira up to Mythic, because while you're like, until you get the Mihira to Mythic, this is why you don't do Mihira Mythic first, because you can make a viable team with an Elite Mihira and a Mythic Khazard, and then you're making the Mihira Mythic to make it more reliable, because then she can unlock her signature item, get to 30 signature item, and then she can get her energy faster. So that's the way that operates. Then he does have the Elite copy of Taylene, and we've got the little note down the bottom here that says an Elite copy early helps with the Dimensional Labyrinth stages with the lock of healers. Basically, she's just a good one to have as well. But for Celestial Tower and the Dimensional Lab is the main reasons. But yeah, I always find, even in early progression, if you luck out and pull a copy of Taylene or get her from an event, it's really helpful in a lot of situations, even at Elite, especially in early progression. Then we do move on to the Zafrael, which I'm happy to see the highly rated Zafrael in this one. I just think he's really solid. The thing is, like I'd toss up between Zafrael and Zolrath in this position, but both really solid. And I'm just a massive fan of Zafrael since I got mine ascended, or since I started an account building him. I think he's really, really solid and offers a lot to a team, especially with max investment. He gets ridiculous with the stun capacity, control capacity. Even an elite copy of Zafrael can be used as just like little stun bot distraction unit, which is really nice. So then we have Zafrael. Then we go on to the Zolrath, and this is something that I did on my account. I actually went for Lucretia and then Zolrath for the fun because I really like Zolrath. But the little clock there, the note to this one is speeding up Zolrath's progression by gazing a few copies of him while simultaneously picking him up from the challenger store helps out a ton while progressing in every game mode. He's essential for countering Flora stages, which appear early as Chapter 35. So the thing with Zolrath, with his 3 furniture, slowing the enemy's entry into battle, you can actually lock out Floras with stuff like Athalia. So you bring Zolrath and Athalia opposite the Flora, and she can actually lock it out. Now, if you do have a front row Flora, you can use something like Ukio without Zolrath, and you can actually go ahead and lock out that Flora as well. But for back row Floras, he is very, very important for that sort of stuff. Then we move on to the twins. Whether you want to get them Mythic or Ascended, I think it depends where you're using them. If you're just using them in bosses, Mythic's fine. Ascended is kind of more necessary if you're trying to use them in campaign because they just die too quick otherwise because they run into melee. And then we do have the Lucretia to 1-star. Now, I actually like this. For me, I went straight to 1-star with Lucretia because I couldn't help it on my account. But this really makes sense to me because you might get lucky and pull a Lucretia, or you might pick one up from an event or something like that to help you along the way to that 1-star. So I definitely like the idea of putting Lucretia 1-star back over here. Then we have the Mortis to Mythic. Then we have the Ascended Mihira, which once again, Ascended Mihira is just more luxury. So for me, like, yeah, like I feel like this bit at the end, I feel like you can do whatever order, but I'm backing Xapy on this order because much more experienced in working this out than I am. But then we do have the Mihira, the Taylene, the Mortis then to Ascended, the Khazad to Ascended, the Leofric, the Morel, the... see, I'm personally a big fan of Zolrath. I mean, Mezoth. I think Mezoth's so thick as just a generic splashable tank. Me personally, if it was me, I'd probably put him ahead of... And because I don't really care about boss fight, like, for me, why do I keep forgetting the vampire dude's name? I cannot believe why I keep forgetting it. It's just completely gone. Anyway, vampire dude, I've said his name 15 times in this video already, but now I've forgotten it. Mortis, there it is. I'm not a fan of Mortis at all. I say that all the time. I know he's like required for boss fights and stuff, but I'm not a fan. But Mezoth, I actually personally really like, so I'd bump him up in my personal order, but I feel like the rest of this is pretty much just up to you. I feel like the key points to take away is basically that you've got Lucretia and Ulna, which are the 2 best units at the moment. Then you have the Elite Mihira with the Mythic Khazad, which makes its own team core. And then you move on to the Zafrael and Zolrath. I feel like these 2 are interchangeable, and both are really strong. I think the reason Zafrael comes before Zolrath is because Zolrath is more of a... Zafrael's a carry, whereas Zolrath is more of a support. Like Zolrath can sometimes carry battles, but not really. He's more of a support, so you get that extra core damage dealer, and then you can bring the Zolrath in, and then once you've got both of them, you know, you can run burst comp and stuff like that. So I think that's the important order of those 2 followed by those 2 followed by those 2, and I think that's the key takeaway from this one. Plus, some elite copies can be nice, but once again, get over there to Reddit. I'll leave it linked in the description. Give it an upvote. It's already at like 1.4k upvotes, which is really nice for Reddit. So big shout out to Xapy again for this guide, but get over there and pop it a like and show your support because this type of stuff is just awesome. And like there's actually a lot that goes into like coming up with these orders and stuff like that. So once again, massive shout out. But anyway, guys, that is going to be it for this one. Thanks for watching. Hope you have an awesome day, and I'll look forward to seeing you in the next one. Cheers.